Sometimes it's nice to just let the car do the talking. Tonight on WindTunnel, Ken Block. He's the star of those jaw-dropping Gymkhana videos. He's turned outrageous driving into a marketing powerhouse. And now he's taking a crack at the World Rally Championship. He'll tell us all about it. And speaking of marketing, we'll meet the man who created the Lucas Oil brand in his garage, then used racing sponsorship to make Lucas one of the most prominent names in all of motorsports. It's been an exceptionally busy racing weekend. Now it's time for that weekly hour of intellectual stimulation we call WindTunnel. Crank it up.
WindTunnel with Dave Despain is presented by Golden Corral.
Hiya, welcome to the show. Glad to be back. Thanks to Robin Miller and the two TKs, Tony Kanaan and Tommy Kendall, for covering here last week. Got some interesting stuff to talk about tonight. We're going to talk to Ken Block, shoe entrepreneur turned rally racer and internet driving legend. And on the chat tonight, where to go? Somebody in SoCal. It rolled up. Todd in SoCal wonders if his fans are called blockheads. Cute. We're also going to talk to Forrest Lucas, a truck driver turned lubricant entrepreneur whose name is on driver uniforms and racing series everywhere you look. Billy Pauch is tonight's last call. Got his dirt modified up here in honor of that. He's got the lowdown on dirt modifieds going, are you ready for this? Road racing. I kid you not. We like hearing from you. 866-WTunnel, the phone number. You can post up on the WindTunnel page at speedtv.com. Email us. No, it's not speedtv.com anymore. I've been on vacation. Speed.com. Email WindTunnel at speed.com. Website also offering the live chat as mentioned. Got Ducati, Dwayne, and Speed Demon, the whole gang there. Then after the show, we have speed.com bringing you the extra half hour of WindTunnel, cleverly entitled WindTunnel Extra. All right, I missed it. Let me hear that bass. Hot topics beginning with the 78th running of the 24 Hours of Le Mans, a classic tortoise and hare story. Pole-sitting Peugeot retired after 3 hours, and then one by one, the wicked fast French cars went to the house, leaving victory to, guess who? The Audis. Never close to the Peugeot's pace. They swept the podium, led by first-time winners Dumas, Bernard, and Rockefeller. Unbelievable. ALMS stalwarts Risi Competizione, Ferrari, and Corvette had a great GT2 fight till the Ferrari broke, and then the Corvette crashed after an aggressive pass by Anthony Davison's Peugeot that's got a lot of people hot. That gave Porsche the class win. 40th anniversary of their first Le Mans victory. On to Montreal, extreme tire wear marking the return of Formula One. Mark Webber's tires were shot when Lewis Hamilton took the lead for good. The strategy for tires was critical, but in the end, the fastest cars, the McLarens, scored their second straight sweep. Fernando Alonso third as Hamilton took the driver point lead. On to Michigan for Sprint Cup. Pole sitter Kurt Busch had a good car. The Blue Deuce led some laps and finished third. And Casey Kane had a smoking hot car all day, note the steam, but ran all the laps with the new motor and finished second. However, Denny Hamlin's car was the best of the bunch. Again, he passed Busch to take the lead for good, thus scoring his second straight and fifth win of the year. And after discussing it here last week, Tony Kanaan finished 24th in Wednesday's Prelude to the Dream, his very first time on dirt. Clint Boyer and Kyle Busch racing this hard for second. Boyer eventually prevailed and was also the winning car owner. His car driven by four-time Sprint Cup champ Jimmy Johnson. The Dream itself, $100,000 to win, late model race for which the Prelude is like a prelude, was rained out last night. This afternoon, Billy Moyer's dream came true. Second time that's happened. He won the big buck race for the first time back in 1998. Ray Cook and Dale McDowell finishing second and third, respectively. And with that, we go to the phones. Don's on the line from Naperville, Illinois. Hey, Don, what's on your mind tonight?
Hi, Dave. Very cool to talk to you.
My pleasure.
I noticed in the victory comments today that Denny Hamlin made in Victory Circle, he said, yeah, I knew there was going to be a late caution. I guess the fans deserve to see a good finish. Is that not a tacit admission that NASCAR kind of sort of rigs the races?
No. What that is careful study of the statistical trends over the years and careful calculation of when the cautions occur. That's what those crew chiefs do because they're really smart guys. This is Hamlin when he's left the pits at one point in the race, and the car wouldn't fire, and it was kind of scary looking. Apparently, Larry Mack's opinion was they had some kind of an air bubble in the fuel system. So, tacit admission, we've heard this from drivers. It was a big thing on WindTunnel last year when several drivers came out and said, the phantom cautions, the bogus yellows. Here's the thing to remember. I saw my first NASCAR race in 1971, and there was a lot of talk in 1971 about phantom cautions, about Jacques Debris, the famous French driver who was always bringing out the yellow flag. It's nothing new. It's been going on forever. Any opinion about it? You hate it? You love it? What?
I don't like it. There's always been issues of did drivers throw things out the windows and create cautions? If they can't create them, NASCAR shouldn't create them either.
I don't disagree with that. I mean, I don't like caution flags, period. I like to see them race. But on the other hand, I mean, I don't think you can argue with the fact that it's been that way for a very long time. And I'll make a prediction. Ain't going to change. Want to have another look at the Le Mans incident that took out the class-leading Corvette. That was a fairly controversial deal when Anthony Davidson and Peugeot lapped Emmanuel Collard's Corvette. The Vette went spinning. There was no contact. It ended the Corvette hopes for G2 victory. And then Davidson said this.
To be honest, it kind of serves them right.
An email.
Davidson's pass and subsequent soundbite prompted Johan O'Neill in Montreal to comment, after the intimidator, there comes the idiotator. I think that's a race term that fans should get a lot of mileage out of. Idiotator. That should certainly have legs. All right, looking ahead to the rest of the show. What do we got? Well, let's see. What the heck is this? Dirt modifieds on a road course. We'll get a report from veteran roundy round racer Billy Pauch. You want car control? I'll give you car control. Rally driver Ken Block's your man. His Gymkhana video is a big internet hit. So how do those skills translate to the World Rally Championship? Newest member of the Ford team tells all. And Lucas Oil, born in a two-car garage, now one of the most prominent sponsors in racing, from bikes to boats, off-road trucks to drag racing. We'll ask the co-founder and CEO, Forrest Lucas, how and why he's put his name all over the world of motorsports. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. First, a commercial.
WindTunnel with Dave Despain is presented by Golden Corral's Great American Seafood Tour. It's all part of the dinner buffet, all for around $10. And brought to you in part by #1 rated Scratch Doctor. Keep your car looking great with Scratch Doctor.
Tonight on Speed, it's sparks flying. Tasty as your mama's cooking.
Green flag, green flag.
Real as it gets. Television you just gotta watch. Tonight beginning at 8 Eastern. Only on Speed.
Friday, NASCAR hits Infineon, and we're there for live Sprint Cup qualifying. And Marcus Ambrose stops by NASCAR trackside. Live speed coverage begins Friday at 2 Eastern with NASCAR Live.
Only on Speed.
Welcome back. I want to thank the boys at Kelly Kawasaki in Richmond, Indiana for their help in my just completed motorcycle vacation. I wish I had needed their help. Met a lot of tunnel heads out there on the road, and I brought home the swag to prove it. Check it out. Turns out the guys who run the Dorena-Hickman Ferry across the Mississippi River between Kentucky and Missouri watched the show. Thanks for the ride, guys, and for the T-shirt. Also, that night I arrived at Grassroots Motorcycles. That's the BMW dealership in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, just in time to catch the Wednesday night dinner ride. Thanks for the hospitality and for the cap. All right, let's go to the phones and see what's shaking out there, see what people are talking about. I got Mark on the line from Kelso, Washington. Mark, what's on your mind tonight?
Hey, Dave. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man.
Hey, before I ask my question,
Yeah.
Can I get a bobblehead? Would it be out of line to ask?
It wouldn't be out of line to ask. I'll leave that up to the bobblehead committee. While I've been away, we may or may not have gotten a shipment of bobbleheads. I'll put you on hold after this call, and we'll let the judges determine whether you get one. What's on your mind tonight?
I just wanted your opinion on whether the one-man dominance in NASCAR, like, Hamlin's doing right now, as to what Jimmy has done for the last 4 years, is good for the sport, or is it better for mix-up multiple winners,
I've always loved the idea of a different winner every week. I've always thought one of the measures of the competitiveness of a series is how many different drivers win races during the course of the year. That said, I don't know whether it's bad for the sport, and I think you have to, you kind of got to define dominance. 4 consecutive championships is one bit of dominance. 5 wins in 10 races is another bit of dominance. I'm not ready to hand the gauntlet. I mean, I heard Kenny Wallace say, Denny Hamlin is the new Jimmy Johnson. I'm not quite ready to make that judgment on the basis of 5 wins in 10 races. I'm not sure the torch has been passed. I'm not counting the Hendrick guys out. I just hung up on the guy that I promised to put on hold. Sorry about that. Okay, let's go to Cade in Columbus, Mississippi. Cade, what's on your mind?
I was wondering, do you think that Denny Hamlin's cheating?
Absolutely. He's winning races. He must be cheating. Jimmy Johnson's been cheating for 4 years, and now Denny Hamlin and Mike Ford have figured out how to cheat better, and that's why they're winning the races. I don't think so. Do you think he's cheating?
Yes, I do, and I think that Johnson was cheating.
You think Johnson's cheating? You think everybody that wins is cheating?
No, I just think winning 4 in a row is cheating. 4
championships in a row, and winning 5 races in the last 10, that's cheating too? I don't know, Cade. I appreciate your opinion, Cade, but I don't think so. I don't buy it. I don't think he's cheating. Speaking of NASCAR, in my absence last week at Pocono, Kevin Harvick and Joey Logano added another round to their ongoing feud. Harvick kind of continued to stir the pot today on the TNT pre-race show. Meantime, Joey was helping himself to happiness. Cue the cow. Clever segue to our little commercial. During the Michigan Cup race controversy, addicts holding their breath. The 20 and the 29 side by side for a little while. Then Logano went on and finished 10th and Harvick 19th. Maybe Joey got some satisfaction out of that. However, the kid's real treat came last night in the nationwide race. He scored his 3rd straight Kentucky Speedway win. And how did he get to the head of the buffet line? He passed Mike Bliss, who was driving Kevin Harvick's car. Joey Logano helping himself to Golden Corral happiness at Kevin Harvick's expense. Can't wait for the next round. Have at it, boys. Actually, I hate that stuff, as I'll tell you tonight on My Take 2 later. Ken Block, widely known for his Gymkhana videos and as the founder of DC Shoes. So, what does he have in common with Kimi Räikkönen? World Rally, that's what. He'll be here shortly. Up next, though, we're going to talk to the man behind those Lucas Oil sponsorships you see all over speed, in fact, all over the racing world, Forrest Lucas, telling us how he made the jump from over-the-road trucker to lubrication magnet. Stick around.
You ready? Green flag, green, green.
Scenes from various Lucas Oil sponsorships featured here on Speed, and we don't have anywhere near all of them. Let's have a look at the complete list of Lucas title sponsorships. The series range from drag boats to sprint cars, and in addition, Lucas has individual sponsorships with more than 650 racers. To find out how all this came about, it's a pleasure to welcome Forrest Lucas to WindTunnel tonight. Forrest, thanks for your time. Nice to see you.
Hi, how you doing, Dave?
I'm doing well, and so are you. It's a classic American success story. You start out as an over-the-road trucker, wind up owning a hugely successful business and making Lucas Oil Products one of those most prominent names in American racing, as noted. Tell me how the trucking business led to the creation of the lubricant company.
It did. We were having a lot of problems. We were hauling about everything in and out of California. So we had to cross the deserts, and we were having a lot of heating problems. So I went out trying to find something that would stop the problems, a better lubricant. And I knew just enough. I studied everything I could, and finally I learned enough to kind of make something that helped, and then I blundered onto something that was really great. In fact, it was made for oil to start with, but nobody would use it. And I didn't know, I had never been to school to learn how you're supposed to do it. There's actually schools that tell you how you make oil.
I was going to say that chemistry professors, make a lot of money teaching people how to do that. You did it in your garage before the internet. I mean, how did you figure this out? You must be a pretty smart guy.
Well, I knew enough to know that I found an old barrel of this stuff, and I knew there was enough writing on it that I could knew it has to be the best part of the oil and in a synthetic state. And I tried it, put it in some trucks, and it worked. Put it in some transmissions. The main thing is I knew how to fix the parts. I knew about how to overhaul a transmission and an engine, those kind of things the ordinary chemist doesn't know.
I got you.
And once you've been to school, college especially, to learn how to do something, that's the way you do it.
Gotcha.
So right now, all the machinery is made to the oils. Nobody's making oil to the machinery except us.
I got you. You're a native of Indiana. That may answer the question. Where did your racing interest come from? When did you decide that racing would be a primary tool to promote the Lucas Oil products?
Right. We started the oil company here. We had moved to California. Charlotte and I had with the trucking business, and we started the whole thing out here. And the Indiana raising up as a poor boy helped a lot, because that's where I learned how to work on hydraulics and engines and all those other things.
What about the connections between the Lucas brand, the Lucas family, and the sport of drag racing? Lucas Drag Racing Series encompasses all the sportsman categories. You also own a 2-car Top Fuel team, Sean Langdon and your son Morgan driving. How did the drag racing connection begin?
Yeah, I tell you, it would take hours to tell the whole thing, but the truth is, when we started, I had to have some way to advertise. So I made the little gear demonstrator. You might have seen them if you've ever been in an auto parts store. You turn one side, you got plain oil, another one. So I had to put some writing on there to tell people what it was, how much to use, so on and so forth. So I figured, well, what's going to get people to look at that? And I decided, okay, everybody looks at a race car. So there was a young man named Ricky Logan in Arkansas. His father owned a Napa store that we were selling to. So we did a sponsorship with him, which wasn't hard to do. And then another gentleman named Randy Westfall in Wisconsin. And he was on his way back from a race one night, and his transmission was going out in his truck, and he stopped in a truck stop and looking for some kind of help, and he found a bottle of our transmission fixed, and he fixed the transmission, and he called me up to talk to me about it. And I had my second race car, because naturally he put a pitch on me. But then I had the dragster and a sprint car, and one for the top and one for the bottom of my demonstrator. And I wanted to be cool. I wanted the product to be cool, so the guy behind the parts counter would recommend it, so that kids going and looking for stuff wouldn't mind rolling around the back of the pickup truck or something. And I had no idea it was ever going to turn out like it is. But we went from there and slowly built it on up. But that's how we got into the drag racing business, with that one car. And we moved him up to alcohol funny car, which was very unsuccessful. But we got our foot wet and learned more and more as we went.
At that point, we need a commercial break en route to that. We're going to try to help you out here with some free market research. Here's this week's Golden Corral question of the week. What racer or racing series should Lucas Oil sponsor next, and why? And good thinking for dirt modified driver Talon Sente and wing sprint driver Ryan Myers. They both used the WindTunnel Facebook page to make their pitch for Lucas sponsorship. What racer and racing series should Lucas Oil sponsor next, and why?
Saturday.
The fierce fight in GT.
This is where the season heats up.
Just too much fire there.
And only the strong survive.
The Ganassi boys will do it.
Don't miss the Rolex Sports Car Series, live from Mid-Ohio, Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed.
When I think of value, I think of Wrangler. Always have.
Wrangler Jeans Company. New looks, priced right.
You can pay more, but you won't get more.
Wrangler. Real, comfortable jeans.
The The biggest event in legend car history is coming to Charlotte Motor Speedway. This is your shot at a share of the $1 million purse. The whole family can do it. U.S. legend cars are easy to own and drive.
I love legend racing, and we're going to the Legend Million at Charlotte Motor Speedway July 15th through the 17th.
Purchase a new legend car today and be racing this week. Then you can enter the Legend $1 Million race at Charlotte Motor Speedway July 15th through the 17th. For information and tickets, go to uslegendcars.com now.
Check it out, Super 7 sweep standing still running on top with Martin #1 fan just 2 points back. The real TK, Tommy Kendall in 5th. I am nowhere to be seen on that list. For whoever leads at the end of the month and claims the June championship, how about this for a cool prize? 10th Scale Team Associated SC10 ready to run electric RC race truck, complete with the Carl Renazetter Lucas oil colors, making a nice transition back to Forrest Lucas, with whom we are discussing racing and lubricants. Tying back to our question of the week, Forrest, how do you decide who gets sponsorship? Driver, series, organization. What do you look for in a sponsorship deal? How do you decide if somebody's worthy of the Lucas backing?
I've got a whole group of people to handle the small sponsorships because we get dozens of letters every day.
Sure.
The bigger things I'm involved in, like the series and the more expensive things like that, I'm very much involved with all that. But we did this without any real program in mind. There's no book to go by. We just kind of take it as it comes. I'm very in tune with the fact that we are in the entertainment business. You know, it's all about selling oil, but we started out as a way to make sure that our name was in the shows and couldn't be bleeped out by somebody who didn't want to watch commercials.
Gotcha.
So we got started like that, and with a series, and the series failed, and we picked it up and created our own, owned it thereafter, and several things we were sponsoring did that. You know, the managers one way or another lost them, or they were just too weak to make it. So we picked them up and put them on television, and we now have our own production studio so that we can make better shows than I think we were getting before, at least some of them. And we have the strength to stand there and do it till it gets successful.
Jeremy in Harrisburg on the
nutshell, Dave. That's just a nutshell.
No, I understand. I think you summed it up pretty well. And the TV component, having your own production company, is a big part of that. Jeremy in Harrisburg asked a question that kind of hit in my mind as well. He's wondering why you don't sponsor an IRL team. I'm noticing that you've got the $120 million 10-year deal to sponsor the stadium in Indianapolis where the Colts play. You come from Indiana. IndyCar racing such a big deal. Why is there no prominent Lucas involvement in that series?
Well, there is more than he thinks. We have an Indy Pro Cup, a Pro Series car. That's the Indy Lights. We have a car. We've had it for years and years. We had a Cup car or a IRL car in 2004. The Indy Pro Series uses our motor oil as a spec oil. In fact, most of the Indy cars over there now use oils that we make. Gear oil, shock oil, greases. Most of them were involved with that a lot more than you think. And I got to say, as far as the Indy cars, since they've got back together, they are making a real good show. I really enjoy the shows now.
I wonder if you can give me a 30-second answer to this. You've got your fingers in so many pieces of the motorsports puzzle. You've got an interesting perspective. What advice would you give to the movers and shakers in this sport? What does racing need to be doing to remain healthy going forward?
Well, that's a pretty hard question. One thing, they need to make it entertaining. You can, some aspects of it is getting a little mundane. They show too much. On the other hand, we're constantly trying to pick ours up to make it more interesting. I critique all of our shows to see how can we make it better, to go outside the box, bring in new stuff. For instance, in our late model dirt series, I got to show the guys how to advertise. They're horrible. We try to give the sponsors some time, but you know, most of them you have to be standing at a dead still and 5 feet away from them to read anything on the car.
Yeah.
But we are taking these shows of ours worldwide. Most of our stuff's being seen around the world, and we've got more people around the world wanting to take it. So we got something that's a pretty big deal there for sponsors, but.
Make it interesting. Make it entertaining. Is that the way to sum it up?
It's got to be entertaining. We are in the entertainment business. We have our own racetrack in Missouri, and we put a lot of effort into making that place entertaining. A place for the kids, the little kids, the mom can play with her little kids while she's babysitting. A place for the teenagers to walk around. They don't care about the racing. They just come there to hang out. And then if you got mom and dad's happy about it, the kids will come, and the first thing you know, you got a crowd.
That's what's
good for us.
That's where I got to leave it, Forrest. I think we get the picture. It ought to be fun for the whole family, and if it's that, then people will watch, people will come, people will stay involved. Continued success to you. Thanks for all you do to support the sport and this network, and we appreciate your time tonight.
Thanks for having me on, Dave.
All right, let's look ahead to one of the more unusual ideas we've heard about in a while. Dirt modifieds. Long and glorious history at oval tracks all over the Northeast. Now they go road racing. Next week at New Jersey Motorsports Park, and Jersey racing legend Billy Pauch will give us a preview in tonight's last call. But up next, I think it is probably as great an exhibition of car control as I've seen. Ken Block's work in the Gymkhana videos. Block also does real racing in the Rally America Series. Now he's poised for a move to the big stage, World Rally. We'll get the lowdown shortly.
Friday, NASCAR twists and turns its way through Infineon, where NASCAR's best visit the first road course of the season. And we're there as the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series grabs some gears for Sprint Cup qualifying. And everyone is revved up in wine country for the ultimate Friday night house party as the pride of Tasmania, Marcus Ambrose, stops by NASCAR trackside. Live speed coverage begins Friday at 2 Eastern with NASCAR Live. And don't miss NASCAR trackside live at 8:30 Eastern.
Only on Speed.
Take a quick look at the final round matchups. Englishtown, New Jersey, drag racing this weekend. They were rained out just in time to start the finals. These are the drivers who will go for the Wallies tomorrow when they resume competition. That Englishtown weekend marred by the death of Neil Parker, who died instantly when his alcohol funny car went through the catch netting and smashed into water barriers at the end of the catch area. On his home track, Parker had crossed the finish line at a career best 249.9 miles per hour. His parachutes apparently failing to open, and he died instantly. It was 2 years ago that Scott Kalita died in a similar crash at Englishtown, and that prompted the NHRA to shorten its nitro class races from 1,320 to 1,000 feet at all of its tracks. With more on this, let's bring in Rob Geiger, who covers drag racing for Speed.com. Rob, safety in drag racing and the NHRA's efforts to improve safety have been a big story now for several years. Is it too early to speculate what the next chapter, if any, might be in that story as a result of what happened this weekend?
Well, I think that the brakes need to be put on this stuff they're doing with slowing the engine combinations and slowing they're doing stuff with the fuel pumps and different size tires and whatnot. And the thought behind that, they've been testing a lot of different theories, and the thought behind that is they want to slow the cars down enough that we can go back to the quarter mile, because the traditionalist fans in this sport are saying, hey, we've always raced the quarter mile. I mean, there's Beach Boy songs about it. We need to go back to the quarter mile. And then something like this happens, and it kind of reminds us all, we need to put safety ahead of everything else. We've reached a point, Dave, as you know, with a lot of these older tracks like Old Bridge Township Raceway Park here in Englishtown, where, this is a track that was built in 1965, 44 years ago. Back then, the top speed in top fuel was 206 miles an hour. Pro Stock's doing more than that these days. So, this track wasn't designed for cars that are going over 300 miles an hour, and even top alcohol funny cars like the one Neil was driving that go 250 miles an hour. It just wasn't designed. It doesn't have the length to shut down.
We should make the point that the alcohol funny cars do run the full quarter mile. They run 13:20, and his speed of 250 miles an hour, and apparently wasn't able to scrub much of that speed before he went off into the catch area. What are you hearing about the potential for 1,000-foot racing in other classes? Is that something that somebody's formally put on the table, and what do the drivers have to say?
Well, the word in the pits this weekend among the only categories that have moved to 1,000 feet, Dave, are top fuel and funny car, which are our two quickest categories. And the thought behind it was, that extends your shutdown area 320 feet, and at the same time you're shutting the car off before it reaches 330 miles an hour. Now they're going 310 maybe at the top fuel cars at that distance. So you're slowing down. You're shutting the motor off sooner, and you're slowing down. You've got 320 more feet. Now the Pro Stock guys and the Pro Modified guys, Pro Modified now reaching speeds at 250, just like the alcohol funny cars. A lot of those guys were like, it's kind of crazy. Maybe we should start looking at this 1,000-foot thing, at least at these tracks that are older, that are shorter.
Englishtown is not the only track that's crowded by surrounding development and can't extend its shutoff area. Pomona is a great example, and that's kind of home base for NHRA drag racing. Do you think that these facilities are in danger of losing their national events? Would the NHRA go so far as to not come back to Englishtown, given its recent history?
Well, that's certainly something that people have been talking about this weekend. I don't know that you could add enough distance to make any sort of noticeable difference in the shutdown area here. So, what's left? Go back to an 8 mile here? Then there's really going to be a bunch of concerns about the integrity of the sport. So, at some point we're going to hit that unless they figure out a way to really, really limit the horsepower on these cars.
All right, Rob, we appreciate your feedback. Thanks, as always, for that report from Englishtown.
You bet, Dave. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll take a break and come back with Ken Block right after this. Mad Media produced it. It's when I discovered Ken Block. It's great stuff. It's called Gymkhana 1. Rally driver Ken Block handling the wheel work. Has a new deal with the Ford Motor Company. He's working on Gymkhana 3 and a World Rally Championship program. So who the heck is Ken Block? Well, first of all, he's the co-founder of DC Shoes, well-known brand in the extreme sports world. And when Travis Pastrana, the extreme motorsports legend, decided to go rally racing in Subarus, Block and his company joined in, DC as sponsor and Ken as a driver. In 2005, Ken was the Rally America Rookie of the Year. Following year, he finished second to his buddy Travis in the championship, along the way starring in the Gymkhana videos. Now, Block has a new multi-year deal with Ford, and he's going to take a crack at the World Rally Series, including a full season next year. With that, it's a pleasure to welcome Ken to WindTunnel. Ken, thanks for your time tonight. Glad to have you. The obvious first question, how the heck did you learn to drive like that?
I was just a fan of rally ever since I was a little kid, so as soon as I could get my hands on my parents' keys, that was the style of driving that I imitated.
No professional training? You learned how to do all this yourself, driving your parents' car?
Yeah, well, pushed my parents' car around pretty hard and ended up jumping it and getting myself in trouble a couple times. But I didn't have any formal training still. I started racing with Travis and trained up at the Team O'Neill School in New Hampshire.
Let's elaborate on that. You, as noted, have dreamed about being a rally driver for a long time. So this DC and Travis Pastrana deal seems like a natural fit. You founded a company that is a logical sponsor for a rally program. So was this a decision of the head or the heart? Was this a business decision or a chance for the boss to go out and fulfill his boyhood dream? Is that a fair question?
Yeah, well, in the beginning when Travis was one of our athletes, so it was real easy for us to follow him into a new sport where we could actually make footwear. So it was really easy for us to sponsor him in this new endeavor that he was doing, and I went along just for the ride. I like I said, I was a fan of rally since I was a little kid, and so I said, heck, it's a good opportunity for me to go play and do it with one of our top athletes. So I'd never had any idea that I would be all that good at it, and I ended up actually being pretty good at it, and it actually beat Travis in the championship that first year.
And it did well enough to now attract the attention of the Ford people. Up until now, it's been a Subaru effort in both the Gymkhana videos and also in the racing. Tell me about this. How did the Ford deal come about? How much of it has to do with the videos? How much of it has to do with your ability as a rally driver? And most importantly, what is the deal? What are you doing with Ford as you go forward?
Boy, that's a very difficult, very long question. I think Ford was very interested in me and everything that I was doing, from competing in, the Rally America Championship and, the Summer X Games, along with some of my interest with doing things outside of rally, but with the rally car, like the Gymkhana videos. So for me, it was just sort of a perfect marriage of being able to do all those sorts of racing and activities, but also take my lifelong dream to actually go race in the World Rally Championship. So unfortunately, I'd had Subaru for a sponsor for a very long time, but unfortunately they dropped out of the World Rally Championship early last year. So
right.
if I wanted to go race there, it wasn't actually a possibility to stick with them. So, but Ford offered me a great package to where I could keep doing some of the races I wanted to do here in America, run Summer X Games, and do a full World Rally Championship program. So that's starting with a development deal. This year I'm only doing 7 of the 13 races, but then next year I work into a full-time run at the championship. We're
going to go to break with a look at Ken in action this year in the 100-acre rally, Salem, Missouri. Took his Ford Fiesta to his first victory in that event and first win for Ford. We'll elaborate on the World Championship program when we come back and continue our conversation with Ken Block. Don't go anywhere.
On Car Crazy, it's all about the love of cars. From custom hot rods.
Everybody looks forward to the Grand National Roadster Show.
To original restorations.
I've had it since high school.
We travel the globe looking for the most amazing automobiles, the people who build them.
These are rolling works of art.
Own them.
Tell us about this car.
And are just plain crazy about them.
You live it, you sleep it, you dream about it.
Is that cool or what?
Car Crazy, Sunday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed.
I can't get enough of Gymkhana 1. While we take a look at some more of that action. Ken, the success of DC Shoes and of these Gymkhana videos tells me you've got a good bit of marketing savvy. Tell me why rallying is such a tough sell in America. People who watch it are enthralled. They're convinced there's no other motorsport that can compare, but there aren't enough of those people, for example, to sustain a broadcast schedule on Speed, and I get angry emails about that all the time. Is there a way to sell rally to the mass audience in America?
That's a really tough question, and it's one that we've been wondering here for a while. I definitely think there is. The Rally America Series has been growing and actually had a little bit of a hiccup in this past year with the economy, but I think that's impacted just about everyone. So, yeah. But I think in the long run, it has a lot of potential.
World Rally is not an easy series to crack. After 6 championship rounds this year, Sebastian Loeb has 126 points. The past Formula One champion, Kimi Räikkönen, has 15. Given what you're up against in terms of experience, your own experience, the quality of the teams that you're competing against, I'm curious what you and Ford see as your potential next year when you do this full-time at the World Championship level.
Well, for myself, I knew the sort of thing that I was getting myself into. These are some of the best drivers on the planet, So for me, coming from America, where we have to have a much smaller series and a different way of doing our pace notes, it's a huge challenge for me to jump into this series. But for me, it's actually gone really quite well on the driving side. I've actually shown more speed than I thought I would have, and I didn't think I would be able to post the type of stage times that I've been able to do till the end of the year. So I'm actually, on the driving side, a little further ahead than I thought I would be. But the place where I'm weakest is actually the two-pass recce pace note system that we just don't have here in America, and that's basically the basis of how all the drivers in the World Rally Championship get their stage notes for each event. So in that area, I'm very weak, and it's something that I really have to work on. But I'm getting there, and I think next year, I have the potential to run in the mid-pack and finish in the mid-pack, which for me is actually a very good goal and a good place to be in only my second year.
Raikkonen would take that. Your Ford deal has another implication. Gymkhana 3 will see you perform in a Fiesta instead of that now familiar Subaru. Still one of my favorite moments when you pop the balloon held by the guy in the chair as we keep an eye out for that. Can you give us any kind of a preview of Gymkhana 3? How might it differ from what we've seen in the past?
That's a really good, tough question. We haven't started filming yet. Still been doing a lot of testing with the car. But we have a lot of different scenarios that we're working through. And the main thing for me is it's just a great way to showcase, the abilities that I have behind the wheel and the great capabilities of these cars that I drive. So we're looking at different ways that we can actually showcase that stuff even more and have it come across even more fun and more raw on the camera. So we just have to wait and see.
We're seeing the new car now. It's a great-looking piece. Good luck with the videos. Keep them coming. We love them. And good luck with the World Rally Championship. It'll be fun to watch you next year, and I hope that continues to build interest in that form of racing. It's great stuff. Thank you, Ken.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me on.
Quick reminder, don't forget tonight at 10 Eastern when the TV show is over, WindTunnel Extra, live via streaming video at speed.com.
When I think of value, I think of Wrangler. Always have.
Wrangler Jeans Company. New looks, priced right.
You can pay more, but you won't get more.
Wrangler. Real, comfortable jeans.
WindTunnel with Dave Despain is presented by Golden Corral's Great American Seafood Tour. It's all part of the dinner buffet, all for around $10. Brought to you in part by the IZOD IndyCar Series, the fastest race in the world, and by Dish Network. Why would you ever pay more for TV?
My goodness. You know the worst thing about going on vacation? Missing my weekly hit of eye candy. I like that eye candy. Finally tonight, proof that sometimes there really is something new under the sun. Behold, Dirt Modifieds, doing business at their biggest event of the year on the Mile Oval at the Fairgrounds in Syracuse, New York. Dirt track racing. Turn left, slide them sideways. It inevitably makes one ask the question, I wonder how these things would road race. Well, let's find out. Indeed, last call tonight featuring Billy the Kid Pauch. He's a racing legend up in the Northeast. He's won, 650 features, dozens of track and series championships on pavement and dirt. He's leading en route to what would be a fifth track championship at New Egypt Speedway. Now, Billy, exactly how much road racing have you actually done in your career?
The only time I really got involved with road racing was when I was with the Craftsman trucks there.
Yeah.
And we got to go down and test with some good drivers like David Donahue and stuff down at Road Atlanta in Georgia.
Okay. So this isn't all new then.
And we went up to, we were supposed to have a race at Watkins Glen. and I went up there and tested with a little neon, went around the track and run it and stuff. And I think a week before I was supposed to run the truck race, I ended up flipping a sprint car and busting my knee. So I never did get on the road course and get a race in.
Those dirt cars are dangerous, you know. So it's all going to happen next week. You're going to go to the Thunderbolt circuit at New Jersey Motorsports Park. It's in Millville. It's right there in your backyard, 2.25 mile circuit. Chris Economaki will be the grand marshal. Have you tested for this, or is this going to be a deal where you just show up and see what happens?
No, there's been about a dozen or 15 of us have been down there testing a little bit, and I think this Friday there's another test up that we can go down and get some laps in, and I think that's what we need. You know, get as much laps as we can in. We upped what we thought was the best setup to put in, a small block and this and that, and we went down there and tested, and now we came back with I think we need a big block in there, so we're coming back with a big block for the test Friday in the race.
Ah, okay. So you've changed your strategy. I know there's been talk that a big block or that a small block, and for those who don't know, the dirt modifieds run both 358s and big blocks. I think Jesse Hill was first to sign up, and he's thinking a small block can win it. You're going the big block route. How come?
We went down there and tested, and there's one real long straightaway. I mean, it's pretty darn long, and I'm on the rev chip before the start-finish line, which is about halfway down, and the big blocks are just driving right by me.
Are you expecting any ringers to show up like they do for the NASCAR races? I'd pay to watch Boris Said race a dirt modified around a road course. Who's going to show up? Will it be all the regulars?
Well, I think it's going to be a lot of local guys from Pennsy and Jersey, and there's some guys coming in from New York. And the last time both times I was down there, I went down and watched the first test, and so was Teddy Christopher. He was there, and Teddy's pretty good on asphalt. He's pretty good on road courses, I hear. So I kind of think he'll stand a pretty good chance. But these are dirt cars. They're not asphalt cars, and we're not running asphalt tires. We're running dirt tires on pavement. So it's going to be a little bit different, you know.
Sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. You think you can win it? Are you confident?
I think we got a real good chance. I'm running for Will Brown, the 1W out of Cambridge, Maryland, and we have a lot of success together. And Will's a really good mechanic, and I thought we had a really good handling car last time we were down there. I just thought we were underpowered.
Gotcha. Well, listen, it sounds like a lot of fun. I hope we get some video. We wish you good luck. Go out there and win the thing, okay?
Yeah, that's the name of the game.
All right, that's Billy Pauch. Thanks for your time, Billy.
All right, no problem. Thanks, Dave.
Based on that clip, getting some good reviews on the chat real quickly. Rob D'Amico says the next racer that Lucas should sponsor should be Rob D'Amico in the Mustang Challenge. Next week, Don Hawk. He was Dale Earnhardt's right-hand man at the peak of the Intimidator's career. He'll be here. I'll see you then.